to keep yourself away. Sound and color. This life ain't like it was. Sound and...
Welcome back. This is a very special episode of Intermission because while I was gone for since between the middle of June to the date you're watching this video, I saw some pretty good summer movies. Some bad ones, but some really good ones. And I wanted to talk about all of them, but I didn't have to because of stuff. But I figured, hey, let's do a summer catch-up video of the really good ones I saw that I would like to talk about, just for fun. And we're going to be starting off with the new Adam Sandler film, Hustle by Jeremiah Zagar. I believe is how you say the name. And I was truly intrigued by this one, like in a way, because it's Adam Sandler doing serious stuff, which is great. But it was also like produced by his company, the Happy Madison, which is strange because whenever he does this, he never really goes with his like the 5 friends of his that he makes the movies with. It's always with other people. But I was greatly intrigued, and I was pleasantly surprised by this film. No surprise here, but Adam Sandler is great as his lead character. He brings a genuine heart and emotion, and the world feels very real. And especially how, like I don't really care about basketball in general, but the way he was able to make it really intriguing, and it's effectively a simple underdog story, but the way it's told and the chemistry he has with the lead basketball player, played by Juancho Herrera-Gomez, they're both really great together. And I think it's like, with the exception of Adam Sandler, Queen Latifah, Ben Foster, and Robert Duvall, like just about almost everyone else is an actual NBA basketball player, which was something I didn't know because I don't know basketball. But now everyone's pretty good in their roles. It's a solid cast, and even though some are like cameos and stuff, they're pretty well performed and well performed, and everyone works well. It's really effective, and sure, it's simple, but it's a simple story with a really good presentation, and the basketball sequences are really well shot and edited. A couple of quick cuts that are a little distracting, but for the most part, the different angles, framing, and positions the cameras used for the sequences are genuinely really good, and I haven't really seen a basketball film like that ever been shot like this before, so that was really intriguing. Well presented, well edited, and with a great lead performance and supporting performance. I think that, this is one of the most interesting and effective movies of the summer, and I think you like it too. And this one's getting a 7 out of 10 or a 3.5 out of 5. And then we're also going to be talking about Spiderhead, the new film from Joseph Kosinski. It's his second film this year after Top Gun Maverick, and I was interested, and there was barely any marketing. I don't think I saw a trailer for this film. I saw the poster with Chris Hemsworth, and I'm like, okay. And the director of Top Gun Maverick and Only the Brave, okay, I'll check it out. And this film is pretty enjoyable for the most part. I think it has a good idea and a good and it has really enjoyable sequences that utilize its premise very well. But it does feel very not aimless, just very confused on what it's trying to ultimately be about. It doesn't find that one avenue to really go down. But it does have a lot of fun with the premise. I feel like there's some really good sequences. Miles Teller's pretty solid in the role, and I really liked Chris Hemsworth just hamming it up as the villain. And it's great, This and Bad Times at the El Royale show his chops as a cheesy villain, and he's really good at it. I think it looks good. The sound is really solid. The soundtrack is a little distracting. This is an obvious comparison, but felt very much like Suicide Squad, just because it just keeps kind of playing these random songs with no narrative purpose and just playing it just because it sounds cool. And I liked all the songs. There's a couple genuinely really well implemented ones, and a really fun last 15, 20 minutes. And it's good. I don't remember everything from this film, but I do remember it being very enjoyable, well told, looking great with some genuinely great direction and moments that I enjoy very much. It was enjoyable, and some movies have to be that, and this was that. So yeah, Spiderhead by Joseph Kosinski is also going to get a wonderful, really good 3 out of 5 or 6 out of 10. Could be 5 out of 10 because nothing's really memorable and some iffy things about it, but it's pretty solid overall, and I would still recommend it if you have 2 hours to spare on Netflix. And we're also going to be talking about the brand new Baz Luhrmann film, Elvis, his first film in 9 years since The Great Gatsby, a movie I have never watched. And I was a little iffy. I thought this was just going to be a stereotypical regular biopic, you know, like your Bohemian Rhapsodies, your Walk the Lines, stuff like that. I'm just like, whatever. I didn't really know, but because I never seen a Baz Luhrmann film, I didn't know his style and like the way he goes about films. And so during the first like 15 minutes of this movie, I just feel like I'm just like getting like blasted in the face with all this shit. But I greatly enjoyed this film a lot. I feel like its style and execution is what makes this film just so like unique and intriguing, because it's far more different than a lot of other biopics are, and it feels very similar to like that Rocket Man movie that came out some years ago, because it's very well told. It has a genuine great like personality and style added to the subject, and it makes the story what a simple and fairly fine story into a genuinely intriguing and incredibly fascinating and highly entertaining piece. I really liked like the musical sequences. There's the way they're shot and edited are just so entertaining and well told, and they actually make you give you like that same excitement and adrenaline that like everyone else has within the sequence, and I liked that a lot. And the photography and the editing is really like outstanding in many different sequences. This is a dumb comparison, you could say, but it feels like if Sam Raimi just made like a musical biopic, and I was very happy to see like this style presented with this story, because if it wasn't and it was the same length but with no craziness, I just would have been bored and I probably would have hated it. But the style and presentation was great, and the lead performance by Austin Butler was truly fantastic, truly emulating the character very well, and doing the voice and mannerisms in a way that are presented super well and close to real life. And especially like when he starts singing, like some of it is his actual singing voice, and then when they get to later on when it's like the actual Elvis voice over top him, it never feels distracting or out of place. I actually felt it was him singing, that completely opposed to like Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody, where it doesn't even feel like he doesn't even try doing a voice. It just feels like his voice, and then when he sings Freddie Mercury, it's just so out of place and wacky. Here, it works well, it's effective, and super good. And I even liked Tom Hanks. He's silly, cheesy, over the top, but I feel like this film already establishes a silly, over the top nature that his performance fits in just completely fine. And it was genuinely effective. The story of exploitation, consumerism, very, very good and effective. It's not the most amazing thing, but it was super good and effective, and I just really craved the style and attention that the film brought. That I presume myself seeing this again and again in the future. So yeah, Elvis by Baz Luhrmann is gonna get a really good, fantastic 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5. Solid, enjoyable, and I will most likely keep watching it for years or days to come. Then we're also going to discuss The Black Phone by Scott Derrickson. This was the movie that he got some funding for after he left the new Doctor Strange film, and I feel like this was a really solid departure from that. Or although that was another one of the Marvel creative differences, and we had to go our separate ways. But this film is truly pretty I'd say close to being great. What the great stuff is really great. When it's really great, it's really great, and when it's not, it's just a little it's almost got it. But this film is still really damn good. I think that the villain performance by Ethan Hawke as the Grabber was truly fantastic. I liked the different masks and variations which were made by Tom Savini of 80s horror makeup fame, and they all looked great. I liked the different uses of emotion, and I like the way he tries to hide behind the face and mask in front of the kid and trying to almost entertain him, and it just doesn't work out well. That I thought those added a dark comedic sense humor to it, and he just the pure menace and terror, you don't know what he's really doing, and all these subtle things of leaving the door open so he can go up so he could just, kill him or beat him up. I don't even know. It's very, very good, and I would love to see Ethan Hawke in more villain roles. And I thought the lead kid performance too was very solid. Mason Thames does a great job as playing Vinny. I thought the way the film explored how he was trying to get out of this mysterious location to be very effective. And it's just and they do a lot of things, while most of it is kind of set in this one room, they do a lot with its location and variety and different imagery within there that makes it really effective and different. And I thought that there were some genuinely effective and kind of sad moments within there. But everything came together really well by the third act with a genuinely effective and really satisfying ending that I really liked. And it also just like the way, like, just very brutal this film is. Everyone's just beating each other up, child abuse, like drinking, like a lot of it just felt very gross and like genuinely real in a way a lot of other horror isn't nowadays. And I greatly appreciated that and made it stick out more. And it didn't feel like in a way as exploitative or bad or like, oh, we don't have anything, so let's do this and maybe people will like it. No, it felt like it was implemented into this time really well and kind of like similar to a film like, I don't know, Last Night at Soho. Like it did a good job at how not to like fantasize or love a time period you didn't live in because it was far more heinous than what we think it is now. Very good, very satisfying, enjoyable, very short too, and very different in its execution with different things. It's not. I don't really remember what I didn't like about it, but I think that's good because I like more than I dislike stuff. So it's very good and enjoyable, and if it ever goes to like, I don't know, Peacock or something, I would really recommend it because it's very solid and very different. And I can't wait to see what Scott Derrickson does next because if it's anything like this, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, The Black Phone is going to get a really great 3.5 out of 5 or a 7 out of 10. It's very solid, very enjoyable, and I would highly recommend it. And this is a crazy one I don't think I was ever going to talk about, but why not? We're also going to talk about Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe by John Rice and Albert Calaros. I've never seen an episode of the original like MTV TV series or the rebooted series that came out 10 years plus years ago, but I've seen the movie Do America many times, and I greatly enjoy that film. It always has these different sequences I just like, and I just love the pure chaos, and I really like how just the inciting incident and like the main story and structure relies on these guys thinking they're just gonna score with whatever woman and just the pure chaos that descends around them that they're oblivious to, and that's just funny to me. But I greatly enjoyed, like, even though it's very similar, it's still very much different in a lot of the jokes and the different ways that they go about it, and just the pure insanity of how things go around them when they're oblivious to it. It's just humorous, and Mike Judge does a great job playing opposite of himself as he plays both Beavis and Butthead, and I thought that it was very good, very enjoyable, very short too. It doesn't really overstay its welcome, nor does it really like feel too short to where it's like, oh, it's already over. It's a really well-paced movie, and it's very enjoyable from start to finish. I think I laughed like the entire way through, which is very rare for a comedy film. It's very immature, but it's like mature in the way that kind of makes sense for like very horned up teenagers, that I just greatly enjoyed it. I enjoyed every second of this movie. I would say maybe the animation and look is still a little iffy. Some of the character designs just look like bad, and they don't translate well to like the computer 2D animation. But it still looks pretty good for the most part. It's well presented and well told, and I just greatly enjoyed just the chaos. And there were some really hilarious moments that I just keep thinking about every so often. It makes me chuckle. Yeah, I don't know what else more to say. This film was just very funny, enjoyable. The overall craziness of this film is just very enjoyable, and the fact they're oblivious to it just makes it even funnier. And also, it has a pretty good like job with like character work of like Beavis trying to kind of like find relationship and companionship with the person, and the way they develop that with him and Butthead, and they go their separate ways, which is probably like the worst part of the film, and genuinely nothing like, but like even though it does that like second act characters go apart thing, they come back and like reconciliate in a way that makes sense for characters like them, rather than any other film where they're just, oh, okay, they're back together. It makes sense for them, and it works pretty well, and it leads to a very fun, entertaining conclusion that I greatly enjoyed. This film's just greatly enjoyable. If you have like an hour and a half to spare, hour 20 minutes I think it is, then watch it, because it's very enjoyable, very good, and I would recommend it. It's better than I thought it was going to be, and I don't know, I think maybe I like this more than Do America. I don't know. So yeah, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe is going to get a really good, really fantastic 7 out of 10 or a 3.5 out of 5. It was just what I was looking for in a comedy, and one of the funniest, most entertaining films I've seen all year, and probably will stay that way throughout the rest of the year. And lastly, we're going to be talking about the brand new Jordan Peele film, Nope. I was like cautiously optimistic about this film because I love Get Out. It's a great, interesting horror film with a unique spin on it that we don't really see very often. But Us kind of like tarnished, not necessarily the name, but didn't leave me interested, particularly excited for what Jordan Peele ever was going to do next. But I was beyond like pleasant surprise is an understatement, because this is a film that I kind of love more than this is a film I love kind of the more I think about it. Similar to a film like Jurassic Park, where it's about this grand scale and spectacle of an attraction, but the dire consequences that come with it. This film is very similar in the vein of something like that, but the film does bring just a lot to it, not just in terms of its story, but also in terms of its filmmaking, because this is an extraordinarily well-made movie, probably the best Jordan Peele has made yet. I really just love the look of the film, like the interesting way everything is lit, especially during the nighttime. The nighttime photography in this is beyond outstanding. They got the same DP as a lot of the newer Christopher Nolan films from Interstellar onwards, and yeah, this film looks great, and especially because I saw this in IMAX opening day, and I love like it's almost thematic the way they use the IMAX cameras, that it's more expanded upon the bigger, larger than life sequences, and I thought that was really good. Especially the sound. The sound was super friggin' good. The soundtrack, this is the weakest score by Michael Abels and his three-person collaboration with Jordan Peele with Get Out and Us. But I still feel like this is still a pretty good score. Like, it's very effective when it needs to be, and there's a couple of really good beats towards the end of the film, especially how it uses a callback at the end of the film. It really like is moving and genuinely effective. And especially there's this big western like orchestral part towards the end of the film that was just so awesome. I was beyond happy, and it's great. I love the way everything is, and there was a couple of genuinely like really horrifying effective sequences. One involving, I don't want to spoil, but one involving that shot with like Steven Yeun, the moment that follows after, is legitimately one of the most like spine-tingling scenes I've seen all year. And the performance as well, super good. Like Daniel Kaluuya I was a little mixed on, but Keke Palmer and I think Keke Palmer is like the star of the film. She's just so like energetic, exciting, and fun throughout the whole thing, and she plays off everyone well. Everyone does too. It's really well performed. It's a great cast of characters, and I like the way they interact with Steven Yeun's character and how he kind of comes together with the whole plot, because he kind of responds to that with spectacle, and how he's a survivor of a traumatic event, and how he's kind of using that and his past life to kind of milk it for what he can, and the way that's used is really, really good. Like, unlike a film like Us, which gets worse over time, this film I think is going to get better over time, and it does have a lot of messages, but it never feels hit you over the head or very distracting in a way that film is. Here, Jordan Peele knew what to fix, and he went about it super well, because this is one of the most entertaining, unique, well-made, and definitely one of the best films I've seen all year. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this film, and I can't wait to see what else Jordan Peele does next. I hope he keeps it in line with this. Something big and grand, as well as keeping it very personal, unique, and different than a large majority of films found within this genre. So yeah, Nope by Jordan Peele is getting a wonderful, fantastic, amazing 8 out of 10, which is equivalent to about a 4 out of 5. Very good. I can't wait to see what he does next. I can't wait to continue watching this, because this is something great. So yeah, that's the summer catch-up. More videos may come soon. I don't know. I'm going to be starting college soon, so I have no idea. But if I do, I will. But if I don't, I don't. But one thing's for sure, I will be making that Movies of 2021 video. It'll be out by the end of November, as the past couple of lists have. I like making those videos, and I'm very excited to really talk about last year, because last year's film's amazing, and I just can't. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, enjoy your day, everything great and grand, and keep it cool. Peace.